Anybody who doesn't believe that Cade Klubnik is at least QB2 on this Jets roster, raise your hand. Now slap some sense into yourself after what we saw in the preseason game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Kid looked good. We're going to talk about that, as well as got some good news on the Breece Hall injury front, and two major pieces returned to Aaron Glenn's defense today. We're going to get into that, as well as some updates on the injuries of Kenyon Sadiq and D'Angelo Ponds, and of course the training camp update to what happened in training camp today. Got all of that on this episode of Jets Roundtable, sponsored by Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app. But let's go ahead and get into it, man, because I was watching the preseason game against the Bucs. Now, I expected Geno Smith to start. Apparently, Geno Smith had an injury to his ankle, and Cade Klubnik was actually the one to get the start over Geno Smith. We're going to get to that throw in a second. That throw was nasty. But Cade Klubnik gets the start. Pretty impressive, in my opinion. Now, it's only preseason. We'll get to some comments that I said over the weekend. We're going to talk about that with Cade Klubnik as well. Kind of calm some people down on my point. But back to the kid, Cade Klubnik against the Bucs. Now, the Bucs didn't play their starters. It was against the second unit, so there is that too. But either way, this was the first time Cade Klubnik actually played with the starting unit all training camp. He's been playing with the second unit, the third unit, and that QB2 battle that's going on in between him, Brady Cook, and Bailey Zappi. We'll get into Bailey Zappi in a second. But in the game, he went 5 for 7, 56 yards, took 1 sack, a 94.9 QB rating for Cade Klubnik. Now, when you look at the numbers, that's not necessarily what's been so impressive about his preseason performance to me. Like, we have to remember that Cade Klubnik is a 4th-round pick, but he has played over 40 games in college for Clemson. Had like a 36-6 touchdown interception ratio the year before he got hurt. Crazy numbers. Looked like he was going to be a first-round draft pick if he would have came out of the NFL draft in 2025. But when Cade Klubnik stepped in there with the starters on Friday night, he looked calm, looked like he was supposed to be there. The poise was there. The confidence was there. The accuracy was there. It looked like the offense was really rallying around Cade Klubnik, and what made that so impressive to me was hearing that he never got any first-team reps in training camp. So it kind of begged the question of, okay, maybe the Jets really do have something in Cade Klubnik. Let's get to this throw, because this throw, you guys sound off in the comments and you let me know how you felt about Cade Klubnik's performance. But, man, this throw to Garrett Wilson was an absolute dot, in my opinion. Got in a couple arguments with some people about, if it's a safe throw or not. I feel like Garrett Wilson is fine. But show the athleticism of Garrett Wilson to go up and get that. And it's not the greatest throw. You know what I'm saying? I did call it elite passing, precision, whatever. I did call it that. Kind of backing down on that a little bit. But the good thing about this is it was an overthrow, but at the same time, Garrett Wilson was in double coverage. You see this, you see the coverage right there. Cornerback is trailing him. The safety's looking over the top to see what Cade Klubnik is going to do. And in my opinion, Cade Klubnik puts it up in the air to the one guy. He knows who's going to get it there, which makes it a good pass to me. So, but this catch was absolutely amazing by G5. Good to see him healthy. Good to see him athletic. Good to see him ready to ball out, man. Ready to ball out. And this question from Sleeper Jet, shout out to them. I want to bring it to you guys, and you guys sound off in the comments. After his performance in that game, how confident are you guys in Cade Klubnik at the backup quarterback spot? You heard what I said to start the show. I mean, if you don't believe Cade Klubnik is the clear QB2 after what we saw from Bailey Zappi and Brady Cook, well, Brady Cook was all right, but Bailey Zappi as the veteran in that quarterback room was god-awful. Try to find another vet if you're the New York Jets. But the play of Cade Klubnik, even though it was only for a couple of series, only 7 passes from him, only 56 yards, was way more impressive than we saw on that screen from Bailey Zappi or Brady Cook, man. Now, after the game, this is where we get into my comments. After the game, salute to our sponsor, Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app, available in All 50 states, new users, download the app. You play $5, you get $150 if your lineup wins. I can't use it. I'm a Prize Picks veteran, but this is all for my new users out there. Go ahead, download the app, use code HMA. Just make sure you play responsibly, man. Aaron Glenn had an interesting comment, in my opinion. Went back and watched it. It's not as, like controversial as I thought it was. I kind of see where he kind of got caught in the question. But it did show a lot of confidence that Aaron Glenn does have in Cade Klubnik. The question was, hey, we know Geno Smith is a starter, but it kind of seems like if Cade is one play away from going in, how much confidence do you have in Cade Klubnik? And I saw Aaron Glenn's eyes lit up. Like, now, Aaron Glenn's not going to give the media anything, especially when it comes to the QB2 battle. He said there's still a competition going on there. Don't get it twisted. Aaron, come on. We know who QB2 is. Stop that. But seeing his eyes light up, like, hey, he was really impressed with what he saw from Cade Klubnik, which kind of, when he said it, it didn't really sound like a clarification. It kind of sounded like the reporter tried to make it sound like how Aaron Glenn is going to, if he's comfortable with Cade Klubnik actually being the starter. Now, there's no quarterback competition from what I'm hearing. I went and checked. There's no quarterback competition. Geno Smith will be the starter. I got some thoughts on that. We'll talk about that on another video. But if anything happens with Geno Smith where he's stinking it up in practice, which today I heard Geno Smith looked amazing in practice today. Shout out to him. That's why, the question, my answer to the question was, hey, Geno Smith needs to get his act together, because if this confidence is growing in Cade Klubnik, knowing the stock of draft picks that the New York Jets have, if they don't need to go get a quarterback, they could super boost the talent on this team next year's draft. So good to hear that Geno Smith had a good practice, but going back to the question, how confident are you guys in Cade Klubnik as being the backup quarterback, man? But to clarify the comments I had over the weekend, I was just asking a question. Like, is this, from hearing what Aaron Glenn said, is this a quarterback competition in between Geno Smith, Cade Klubnik, and everybody else on the roster? Is it an open competition? Is it something that the New York Jets are willing to explore if Cade Klubnik can operate the way he did with the starters in this preseason game against the Bucks? Now let's hold on. It's just one preseason game. There's no need to overhype anything. That wasn't my intention at all. I was just saying, this kid play like this. You got these draft picks. We don't know if Geno Smith is going to be the Seahawks Geno Smith or the Raiders Geno Smith. Like I said, I'll do a separate video on how I feel about Geno Smith later, and his kid Cade Klubnik, and where he ranks with this season with Geno Smith being the quarterback for the New York Jets in 2026. But shout out to Cade Klubnik. Played very, very well. You guys sound off in the comments, and you guys let me know, man. Let me know how you feel about Cade Klubnik being QB2. Now, let's go ahead and switch over to the injury front, because a little bit of concern about Breece Hall, non-contact. Heard it was a groin injury. But from what we're hearing, Breece Hall, it's going to be all right, man. Going to be all right. This report is from Zach Black. Got some good news on Breece Hall. Came from Connor Hughes to follow up on Breece Hall's groin. Confirmed the injury is minor. A big sigh of relief for the New York Jets. They'll be cautious with them, but it's weeks, not months. And that's good. Breece Hall just got his money. I expect Breece Hall to play free. They have a new offensive coordinator in Frank Wright, who will be able, hopefully, every coach says that they're going to do it. Hopefully Frank Wright is the guy that actually comes through with this. But now they can actually add Breece Hall to the passing game, something that Breece Hall is very effective in. Adds another weapon to the weapons that they have on the outside. Omar Cooper Jr. looked amazing in that preseason game too. Jets got him something with him. Can't wait till Kenyon Sadiq is healthy. We'll get into that a little bit later on. But good news for Breece Hall. What I'm hearing, he's shutting them down for preseason. I don't think you need Breece Hall for the preseason anyway. Just go ahead and keep him healthy. Showed that he can still move in that preseason game against the Bucks. Breece Hall will be just fine. Might need to knock the rust off a couple of games or something like that to get acclimated to game speed again. But the reason why I'm not necessarily worried about Breece Hall is because that dude, Braylon Allen, is back and healthy and was a monster. Had like a 30-yard touchdown run in that preseason game. Looks healthy, looks strong, looks like the Braylon Allen that we remember. So this running back room is going to be explosive as long as Breece Hall and Braylon Allen are healthy, because other than them two, it's getting kind of slim. Isaiah Davis is also injured, so the Jets' healthy running backs currently are Braylon Allen, Kene Nwangwu, Chip Traynham, and Sam Scott. So this running back room is going to need Breece Hall to be healthy. But that tandem in between Breece Hall and Braylon Allen, man, can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it. You guys sound off in the comments. Let me know how you feel. Let me know if you feel relieved that, Breece Hall's injury isn't a major thing. Should be ready for week 1. And we actually got some Aaron Glenn comments that I guys want to play for you that's talking about Breece Hall, saying Breece Hall, he going to be ready for the season. Chill out. Let's hear what AG got to say about our guy, Breece Hall.
Breece and Mike Hill, both of those guys will be out. With Breece with the groin, Mike Hill with the calf. Both those guys will be out 2 to 3 weeks. So those guys will be ready for the regular season. So Breece and Mike Hill, both of those guys.
So good to hear that Breece Hall is going to be just fine. And with these weapons that we saw, Breece Hall is going to be needed. Breece Hall should be able to have the space to operate and prove to the league. Breece Hall, top 5 running back in this league. You heard it here first. Sound off in the comments. Let me know if I'm crazy. I don't think I am, though. But more on the injury front. Let's talk about Kenyon Sadiq and D'Angelo Ponds. Both of them did not play. Kenyon Sadiq has kind of been injured a lot during the course of this offseason. D'Angelo Ponds had like a calf strain or something like that. He's still out. But hearing Aaron Glenn again, apparently these two guys are going to be just fine and are actually on the Breece Hall trajectory of being ready for week 1. Let's hear Aaron Glenn on the updates of Kenyon Sadiq and D'Angelo Ponds.
I would say so. I would say him and Ponds, they're getting closer. And the goal has always been getting those guys ready for week 1. So, again, we have a management plan on all those guys, and we're going to make sure we stick to that to make sure that they're ready for week 1.
That's great to hear. That's great to hear. Kenyon Sadiq is an absolute freak. Mason Taylor looks really good this preseason as well. So imagine him and a freak Kenyon Sadiq at the tight end spot. Geno Smith has a lot of weapons at his disposal. So looking forward to seeing him. Looking forward to seeing D'Angelo Ponds. I was a little concerned about the pass defense that we saw. You know what I'm saying? It looked like D'Angelo Ponds is going to be a huge piece to that defense. So hopefully we get to see what the kid is like and what his impact is going to be for this Aaron Glenn called defense. You guys sound off in the comments. Let me know how you feel and how confident you feel about Kenyon Sadiq and D'Angelo Ponds being ready for week 1, man. And let's go ahead and transition to a couple of vets, couple of guys, big pieces that showed up to the practice field for the New York Jets. Main guy number 1 that would have helped out this weekend, T'Vondre Sweat is back on the field practicing. Heard he looks like an absolute monster. Heard Rich Samini talk about it, said you can notice the difference when this kid is on the field, man. At the nose tackle, big stop in the run. Aaron Glenn made some comments saying, hey, don't sleep on his pass rushing ability either. Good to have T'Vondre Sweat back in practice. The New York Jets went and got T'Vondre Sweat in after they traded away Quinnen Williams from this squad. Left a massive hole on the defensive line that T'Vondre Sweat is here to fill. Good to see him back in practice, as well as Joseph Assad has showed up in practice, has passed his physical, is practicing with the team as well. And a little bit concerned, a little bit of a question when it comes to Joseph Assad returning is that I'm hearing that Will McDonald practiced with the second unit today. So it looks like the Jets are, I don't know if they're giving up on it, but it seems like Will McDonald will not be an every down player with the New York Jets. Of course, with the addition of David Bailey, he popped off at the screen to me at the preseason game, didn't do too much damage, was double teamed a lot. So it shows me that other teams definitely respect the talent of David Bailey and everything that they heard about him in training camp. The Bucs were the ones to see it up close and personal. They had joint practices. So Of course, they would double him. They know what he's like. But when it comes to Will McDonald, what I heard Matt O'Leary say, shout out to him, that made me really perk my ears up and sound like this is the best role for Will McDonald, is possibly playing him in a Bryce Huff role, where one season Bryce Huff had 10 sacks in a role where he wasn't an every down player, but hey, just get to the quarterback. I think that will be perfect for Will McDonald to play that role, to just not be an every down player, but when we need a specialty package for you, we need extra to get to the quarterback. We've seen Will McDonald be able to do that, and maybe he can't do that on every down, but even last season, he had 2 games where he had sacks. That's it. Both of them, he had 4 sacks. So we have seen Will McDonald be able to produce at a high level in limited snaps. So hopefully we can get that out of Will McDonald, a former first-round pick. I think it was pick 15. Of course, the Jets were hoping he would turn into an every down player. That's not something that's happened. But I do believe a specialty role, like a Bryce Huff role, will work perfect for Will McDonald. You guys sound off in the comments and let me know how you feel about that. Shout out to Matt O'Leary for the comp. Really, really love that comp. And we get into the training camp updates for today. Nothing too much on training camp today. Like I said, Geno Smith apparently balled out today. I guess he saw the kids' tape. Hey, I'm cutting all the questions down. I'm the starter here. Had a great practice. Few throws to Garrett Wilson that looked really good. David Bailey, still impressive in practice. Still impressive. Got a quick sack on Geno. Even was in coverage against Keeney today and forced an incompletion. So you're starting to see the versatility of David Bailey. Omar Cooper got in some one-on-ones today. Malachi Moore on a juke to the outside and made a nice catch and beat Jarvis Brownlee. So this kid, Omar Cooper, sounds like he's a starter. And he's burning our whole second unit. So that shows you the talent of Omar Cooper. Can't wait to see the kid play. Had some good battles in between Brandon Stephens and Garrett Wilson. Brandon Stephens seems like he's going to be starting for the New York Jets. You guys sound off in the comments. Let me know if you have confidence in him. Hopefully this is a better season for Brandon Stephens. They're paying him a lot of money, so hopefully he balls out. And Arian Smith, a ball tipped off his fingers in the preseason game, was a little bit questionable. Looks like he is redeeming himself. Arian Smith made an incredible catch against Dane Belton. My guy said Belton tried ripping it out, but Smith held on. So an amazing practice for the New York Jets today. Seems like the offense really stepped up today, along with another David Bailey dominated practice, man. But that's going to be it for us today, man. Make sure you guys sound off in the comments. Let me know how excited you are that the football season is almost here, man. But that's going to be it for me. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys hit that like button and sound off in the chat. Type "Let's Go Jets" in the chat. Let me know if you made it to the end. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, because you could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with me talking Jets football, and I appreciate that, man. See you guys next time. Peace.